guys, Tech717 here. I have a very special review for you today. This is going to be a two-part review, and we are doing a cigar showdown. The product that we're using is Cigars International Gentleman's Deuce. Now, I'm going to show you this from start to finish. I just received this today. Very carefully opening the box so we don't hurt anything. Overview of the product so far is the Gentleman's Deuce is 2 5-packs of cigars from Cigars International. A lot of places online do 5-packs, but the way that it's packaged, it almost just kind of looks like they want you to compare and contrast the two cigars. Similar growing regions, usually the same body category, in this case, full-bodied cigars. So, let's open it up and see what we get with the Gentleman's Deuce. We have our 5-pack of Diesel Unholy Cocktail and CAO MX2. We're going to review both of these cigars, and then at the end, we'll come back together and we'll kind of make a decision on which one deserves the crown for this challenge. Tonight, we'll start with the CAO MX2. All right, let's take a look at this. We've got a Connecticut broadleaf wrapper, very dark Maduro. Now, CAO says that MX2 stands for Maduro ×2. So the binder is also a Maduro binder from Brazil. The filler is from 3 countries, including Nicaragua, the Dominican Republic, and Honduras. So, right off the bat, very complicated in the way this thing is constructed, and I have high hopes for it. So, taking a look at the wrapper, we've got a pretty neat looking wrapper. Nothing to report there, really. The initial aroma, a little milder than I expected from the report and just from the overall appearance of it. Very mild, a bit of a cedar, something of an H tobacco in there. Almost a little sweet. I wasn't expecting sweetness. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and hit this with a punch. And let's get lit. A little harsh on the first draw, very long finish. Flavors are still coming in. It's a little spicy, a little black peppery, and there's still that overlying sweetness that I smelled initially. That's coming through on the finish as well. We'll see how it continues. About 1.5 inches down now. Started to get a little bit of an uneven burn, and the ash just kind of fell off right onto the table. The flavors have really mellowed out. At first, it was kind of a little harsh, very strong, full-bodied cigar. I'd say we've mellowed out to maybe a medium full now. At first, I went and actually poured myself a drink to kind of go along with it because it was pretty potent there at the beginning. Mellowed out a little now. The spice is still there. It's almost, I've never really used this word to describe a cigar before, but it's almost kind of got a little bit of a zest, maybe kind of in the back of your throat on the finish. The draw is really just strong, straight, aged tobacco. There's still that underlying sweetness, but the sweetness is really kind of toned down a little bit, as have the other flavors, just overall mellowing. I'd have to say the wrapper is starting to peel a little bit here. Other than that, it's a pretty tight pack, especially here at the head, but the draw is pretty even, very smooth, not too tightly packed that you can't get a good draw on it. Overall, a good cigar. Not something that I would say I would recommend for an everyday smoke. I would call this an occasion smoke, somewhat celebratory. Excellent, excellent cigar. Not a ton of smoke output, but there is enough there. Again, the flavors are good. See how it continues. Just past the halfway point here, the ash just fell off again. Fairly loose, it's only been holding on in about 1.25 chunks. The party down at the sandbars in full swing. The flavors have kind of amped up a little bit since my last check-in, and the body has really kicked it back up a notch, back up to a solid full. Real dark. The flavors are incredibly complex. If you like a lot of different flavor, a lot of complex flavor in your cigar, definitely the cigar for you. It changes from, it's always got that spice. The sweetness is gone completely at this point, but you know, a little while ago it was still there. I was getting a little bit of a grassy hay almost for a couple, and it was gone. Then there was almost a little bit of chocolate for almost like an unsweetened, like a dark chocolate flavor. Just for a second, then it was gone. So lots of different complex flavors in there, ever changing, I would say. We're just about at the point to take the band off. Super long finish. The flavors just linger for quite a while on your palate there. Again, with just the dark aged tobacco and just the complexity of the flavor there. If you are a mild to medium or even a medium bodied cigar smoker, this is probably going to be a little bit heavy for you. It will kick you. It is a kicking cigar, shall we say. About to take the band off, get down to the last portion of this, and I'll check in again before we call it a night. All right, guys, we are just over the hour-and-a-half mark. Just went out on me. I hadn't been let it sit or anything like that, so this late in the burn, I don't really want to go for a relight. Probably a little bit too dried out. It wasn't giving me some of those good flavors I was having before. Overall, up until this point, a good consistent burn, good draw, lots of flavor. You know, that I was kind of thinking just a little while ago of the way to kind of describe that spice that I was getting. It's kind of almost like a licorice spice, a little bit like that black licorice type. So lots of good flavor in this cigar. Up to this point, an okay burn. I had some inconsistencies. I had one other relight that I didn't mention before. So again, because of that, I'm not going to go ahead and relight this one again. Overall, a great performance out of the CAO. Lots of the flavor that I expected. Again, very complex because of the different regions and the different blends that they've packed into this thing. And the double wrapper, as they call it, but I'm fairly certain that it's just a darker binder that they use to add that extra flavor in there, and not actually a double wrapper, because it didn't really look like it to me. So, we're finished with the CAO. Tomorrow, we're going to pick it up again with the Diesel Unholy Cocktail. We'll compare and contrast the two and see if we can crown ourselves a winner for this head-to-head cigar battle. All right, guys, we are here in part 2 of our head-to-head competition, CAO versus Diesel. We have a Diesel Unholy Cocktail in a 5x56. This, from what I understand, was the original offering of the Diesel line when AJ Fernandez opened up the Diesel line in 2009. Was this exact cigar, and I believe it was this exact size. Obviously, AJ Fernandez is a legend among cigar makers, and this being the first offering in this line, I haven't tried it before. Call me sheltered. I do live under a rock. We're going to try it out tonight, see how it compares and contrasts with the CAO that we smoked last night, and see if we can crown ourselves a winner. Initially looking at it, obviously we've got a Bellicoso style torpedo, a foot wrapper instead of the typical band where you would see it. Kind of a veiny wrapper. Very visible spiral seams with a little touch of a lip up there at the cap where it might start to peel. So I'll be very careful when I cut this. Make sure I cut it below that, and hopefully we won't have any issues there. Go ahead and get this cut here. All right, let's get lit. Very smooth draw, just about perfect. Not too loose, not too tight. I don't think that could be better. Very long finish. The flavors are still coming in here. A lot of spice. There is an underlying sweetness to it, but mostly it's a very peppery, front of your mouth, just a kick. I forgot to mention earlier in my initial overall look of it, the aroma initially of the cigar pre-light was just a heavy aged tobacco aroma. Not too complex on that. Let's go ahead and see how it smokes. Very spicy cigar. We're about half hour in. The spice is really mellowed down. It's really smoothed out. We've got a little bit of sweetness that's kind of ramped up a little bit with the spice dying down. Almost like a caramel type sweetness, but not too much of it. There is a little bit of an earthy undertone, just kind of with that aged tobacco flavor in there as well. And not a perfect burn by any means, but definitely even. Good strong ash. We'll probably hold on for a little while longer here. A couple things I forgot to talk about at the start of the video was construction. We've got a beautiful Pennsylvania broadleaf Maduro wrapper. Very strong wrapper. And then we've got Nicaraguan fillers. I believe it comes from 3 separate regions in Nicaragua. Couldn't tell you where they are because I have a terrible memory. I am pairing this tonight with a glass of Redbreast 12-year Irish whiskey. Very mellow. Pairs well with the cigar. I like to pair my whiskeys to the cigars or whatever I happen to be drinking. I find that a stronger whiskey really overpowers a medium to mild cigar. So I typically go with something like a brandy, or even if I'm going to go maybe non-alcoholic, I might go with the Coca-Cola. Try it. It works quite well. The mellowness of this cigar, while retaining that full flavor and the full body throughout, pairs really well with a nice mellow whiskey that's been aged for 12 years or so. So far, great performance out of the cigar. I'm getting a lot of good flavor out of it. Love the way that it's mellowed out but kept that body there. Keep smoking it and check in with you a little later on. All right, guys, we're at about the halfway mark, maybe a little bit past. About an hour in, as you can see, the ash really evened out. It's almost a perfect burn at this point. The flavors still strong, but it's continued to kind of mellow out a little bit. The spice is still there, but really that's all I'm getting other than just a really strong aged tobacco flavor. There's not a whole lot of complexity here. It's just a good, strong, full-bodied cigar. A bit of a kick with that spice still, and a lot of that really good aged tobacco flavor is all I'm getting. Really heavy smoke, a decent amount of it, not an excessive amount, but it's nice and heavy. If the wind dies down a little bit, the smoke just falls. It's fantastic. Beautiful smoke coming out of this thing. I apologize if the sound quality isn't all that great because the wind is kind of kicking up a little bit here. Overall, a fantastic smoke. I've got a little bit more to go here. The ash earlier fell off just exactly where I thought it would. A nice big chunk. Really tight. Progressing well, and I look forward to the last little bit here. It just almost went out on me. I think I'm going to call it good right about here. Ash drop right in my lap there. Pretty much the same as the last check-in, with maybe a little bit of a ramping up of the spice again. The moment has arrived. We have to choose a winner. Hold that thought. And unfortunately, there has to be a loser. Keep in mind, both cigars, very good contenders. Lots of good notes on both ends. The CAO, lots of complexity, very dark flavors, very heavily bodied, both cigars. The Diesel, a little more simple on the palate, heavy spice, heavy aged tobacco, a little bit of sweetness, a little bit more sweetness with the CAO. I think I have to give it to the Diesel. And the reason why is just my personal taste. You have to keep in mind, this is a review, and what's a review but an opinion? So my opinion is that the Diesel is going to have to be the winner. Mr. Fernandez really knocked this one out of the park. Everything about the cigar directly on point. He knew exactly what he was doing, blending these flavors. Kept it simple. So here's where you come in. If you haven't tried both of these cigars, do so. If you have tried them, get down in the comment section. Tell me what you think. Tell me if you agree with my opinion. Tell me if you disagree. If so, why? Tell me what your opinions are. Keep in mind that cigars are tobacco, and tobacco is a crop. And there's lots of natural variation that goes on in growing a crop. This cigar, when it was first introduced in 2009, could be different than what it is today. People that make these cigars work very hard on keeping everything consistent so that each cigar tastes the exact same, burns the exact same, but there are all kinds of things, all kinds of factors that go into this that make it a little different sometimes. So try one, tell me what you think. Keep in mind, these are full-bodied cigars. They will kick you in the butt if you're not used to a full-bodied cigar. If you're looking for a cigar to kind of introduce yourself into the full body, you've been smoking the mild, medium, that flavor range, I would recommend the Diesel. It's a little easier on the palate, a little bit easier to digest. So that's my recommendation. A big thanks to Mr. Fernandez. It's a fantastic cigar. The CAO, still a good cigar. I'm not saying by any means that the CAO didn't put on a strong showing here. My opinion, though, Diesel Unholy Cocktail. we'll see you next time. I got lots more reviews coming up. Be sure to try and hit that subscribe button. You know, give me a like if you enjoyed the review. Coming up, I've got some more medium to mild cigar reviews, if that's your thing. I try to stay a little bit more towards the everyday cigar, working man type cigar, something a little bit more affordable that, you know, everyday guys go out and buy to enjoy on the weekends, that sort of thing. Basically where I come from. So, looking forward, we've got some 5 Vegas, a Sosa that I'm really looking forward to reviewing, a couple others. So, check out my channel, see what else is up there. I'm going to try and upload at least 1 video a week. So, keep an eye on that if you would, and see you next time.